.30-06 hunting rifle trembled in Jake Peterson's hands as he struggled to achieve a clean grouping at the 200-yard target, his breathing unsteady and his trigger control inconsistent despite 3 hours of instruction at Montana's premier hunting education facility. Around him, 15 other novice hunters fought similar battles with accuracy that would determine whether they could ethically harvest game during the upcoming elk season. At the instructor station, Gabriella Silva observed the struggling shooters with infinite patience, her gentle coaching style and encyclopedic knowledge of ballistics making her the most sought-after hunting instructor in the Rocky Mountain region. What the frustrated students didn't know was that the soft-spoken woman teaching them to hit paper targets at 200 yards had once put a .50 caliber round through an enemy combatant's center mass at 1,847 meters. Setting a record for the longest confirmed kill in Marine Corps history. Welcome to Those Who Left a Trace, where we uncover the extraordinary stories of people whose greatest achievements remain hidden behind ordinary professions. Before we dive into this incredible tale of precision disguised as patience, tell us in the comments what city you're watching from today. And if you believe that some teachers have earned their wisdom through fire and steel, hit that subscribe button and join our community. The morning session at Big Sky Hunting Academy had begun with a methodical precision that marked professional outdoor education, as Chief Instructor Gabriella Silva conducted her daily briefing on rifle fundamentals to the advanced marksmanship class. At 34 years old, she possessed 8 years of civilian hunting instruction experience that had earned her recognition as one of Montana's most effective firearms educators. Her patient teaching methodology and exceptional ability to diagnose shooting problems had helped hundreds of hunters achieve the accuracy standards necessary for ethical long-range hunting in the challenging terrain of the Northern Rockies. Good morning, everyone. Gabriella addressed the assembled students with a calm professionalism that had characterized her instruction since establishing her reputation in Montana's competitive hunting education community. Today we'll be working on extended range shooting techniques for elk hunting at distances up to 400 yards. Remember that ethical hunting requires absolute certainty in your ability to make clean, humane shots under field conditions. The lecture was standard hunting curriculum, delivered with expertise that her colleagues attributed to exceptional outdoor education and natural aptitude for marksmanship instruction. However, her analysis of external ballistics, atmospheric effects, and long-range shooting fundamentals reflected knowledge that went far beyond typical hunting education programs, though she rarely discussed her background with instructors who assumed she had followed the conventional path from competitive shooting to outdoor education. Instructor Silva, called Marcus Thompson, the Academy's Director of Operations and a former competitive shooter with extensive outdoor industry experience, we received an interesting request from the Marine Corps Mountain Warfare Training Center. They're asking for consultation on long-range marksmanship training in high-altitude environments. Gabriella studied the request with analytical precision that reflected experience evaluating complex shooting scenarios under demanding environmental conditions. Her assessment of atmospheric variables, terrain challenges, and equipment requirements demonstrated understanding that exceeded typical civilian hunting instruction, though her response remained appropriately professional. Marcus, our specialty is civilian hunting education. The Marines have qualified instructors who are better suited for military training requirements. That's what I told them, but they were specific about requesting your consultation. Apparently, they've heard about your long-range shooting demonstrations and believe your techniques could benefit their mountain warfare program. The request surprised both Gabriella and the assembled hunting students who had never heard of civilian instructors being consulted for military training programs. Her expression remained carefully neutral, though something in her posture suggested familiarity with exactly the type of training Marcus was describing. Marcus, I'm honored by the confidence, but my expertise is in hunting applications. Military marksmanship involves different objectives and techniques. That's what makes their request interesting. Gabriella, they specifically mentioned wanting to learn civilian long-range hunting techniques that could be adapted for military applications in mountainous terrain. Gabriella felt her carefully maintained civilian identity beginning to crack as she realized that her teaching methods had revealed capabilities that couldn't be explained by conventional hunting education background. "Sir, I'll consider providing consultation, but my primary responsibility is to these students and their hunting education requirements." "Understood. Complete today's session, then we'll discuss the Marine consultation in detail." As Marcus departed to coordinate with military training representatives, Gabriella noticed increased attention from students who had overheard the conversation about military consultation that seemed to extend beyond normal hunting instructor responsibilities. "Instructor Silva," asked Jake Peterson, a struggling student who had been working to improve his long-range accuracy throughout the advanced program, "why would the Marines want to consult with a hunting instructor about marksmanship? Don't they have their own sniper training?" Jake, military and civilian shooting share fundamental principles. Sometimes fresh perspectives from different disciplines can improve training effectiveness across all applications. The explanation was plausible, though something in Gabriella's tone suggested she was uncomfortable with the attention that the Marine request had generated among her students. Today's session will focus on practical field shooting techniques. She announced to refocus attention on immediate training objectives. Remember that hunting conditions rarely provide perfect shooting positions or ideal environmental factors. Your ability to adapt fundamentals to challenging situations determines your success as an ethical hunter. For the next 4 hours, Gabriella conducted long-range marksmanship training with the methodical thoroughness that had built her reputation as an exceptional instructor. Her ability to diagnose individual shooting problems and provide targeted solutions had helped struggling hunters achieve accuracy they had previously thought beyond their capabilities. "Jake, your breathing control has improved dramatically," she observed while reviewing his target after the 300-yard stage. "Your natural respiratory pause is much more consistent, and your follow-through shows better discipline." "Thank you, Instructor Silva. Your coaching has transformed my shooting. I was ready to give up on long-range hunting until you showed me how to manage environmental factors and shooting positions." "Jake, every shooter has the potential to achieve precision accuracy with proper instruction and sufficient practice. My job is to identify what's preventing you from reaching your potential and provide techniques to overcome those limitations." The philosophy reflected her approach to instruction throughout her civilian career, though her diagnostic abilities and technical knowledge suggested training and experience that went beyond typical hunting education programs. As the morning session concluded with significant improvement from all students, Gabriella prepared to address the Marine consultation that Marcus had mentioned earlier. Instructor Silva, called Colonel Sarachan, dressed in Marine Corps utility uniform whose ribbons and insignia indicated extensive combat experience and specialized training qualifications, as she approached with an expression that suggested the consultation request involved more complexity than routine training cooperation. "Colonel Chen, I understand you're interested in discussing long-range marksmanship techniques for mountain warfare applications." "Ma'am, that's correct, but our interest extends beyond routine training consultation. We've been monitoring civilian shooting competitions and education programs, and your techniques suggest capabilities that exceed standard hunting instruction." Gabriella processed a statement with growing concern that her teaching methods had revealed skills that couldn't be explained by conventional civilian background. "Colonel, what specific techniques are you referring to?" "Ma'am, your long-range shooting demonstrations, particularly your ability to account for complex environmental variables and achieve precision accuracy at extended distances, suggest training that goes beyond civilian hunting education." The assessment was accurate and perceptive, reflecting professional recognition of capabilities that Gabriella had developed during military service involving precision shooting under combat conditions. "Colonel Chun, effective long-range shooting requires understanding principles that apply across all disciplines. Hunting applications often involve challenging environmental conditions that develop advanced marksmanship skills. Ma'am, with respect, what we've observed suggests military-level precision shooting capabilities. Your technique equipment knowledge, and ballistic calculations indicate training that exceeds civilian hunting programs. The direct assessment confirmed Gabriella's growing realization that her civilian instruction had revealed expertise that could only be explained by military training that she had concealed for 8 years. Colonel, what specific consultation does the Marine Corps require? Ma'am, we need expertise in extreme-range precision shooting under high-altitude conditions. Our mountain warfare program requires capabilities that push the limits of current military marksmanship training. The request suggested technical complexity that would challenge even experienced military marksmen, requiring expertise in long-range precision shooting under environmental conditions that exceeded standard training parameters. Colonel Chun, what range and environmental factors are you dealing with? Ma'am, engagements at 1,500 to 2,000 meters in alpine environments with variable atmospheric conditions, extreme temperature differentials, and terrain complications that affect ballistic calculations. Gabriella processed the technical requirements with automatic analysis that reflected experience with similar challenges under combat conditions. Her assessment of ballistic variables and environmental factors demonstrated understanding that far exceeded civilian hunting applications. Colonel, those ranges and conditions require specialized equipment and training that goes beyond hunting applications. Your military instructors should be qualified for such requirements. Ma'am, that's the challenge we're facing. Our current training doesn't adequately prepare Marines for precision shooting at those ranges under mountain warfare conditions. We need expertise from someone who has actually performed such shooting. The statement carried implications that suggested Colonel Chin suspected Gabriella possessed exactly the type of experience the Marines required. Colonel Chun, when would this consultation be required? Ma'am, immediately. We have a training exercise beginning tomorrow that requires demonstration of extreme-range precision techniques. Our current instructors have identified limitations in their capabilities. Gabriella realized that a consultation request had reached a point where continued concealment of her background would prevent her from providing assistance that military personnel apparently needed for their training requirements. Colonel, I'll need to coordinate coverage for my afternoon classes. Then I can respond to your training facility. Ma'am, we can provide transportation to the Mountain Warfare Training Center. The consultation will involve both classroom instruction and practical demonstration of long-range techniques. As Gabriella prepared to depart from the Marine Training Facility, Jake Peterson approached with curiosity that had been building since the morning's overheard conversations about military consultation. Instructor Silva, can I ask you something? Of course, Jake. During our training today, your instructions seem to go beyond hunting applications. Some of the ballistic calculations you've taught us, especially the environmental compensation techniques, seem more advanced than what civilian hunters would typically need. Gabriella studied the earnest student who had struggled with accuracy until her instruction had unlocked his potential as a long-range shooter. Jake, effective marksmanship requires understanding principles that apply across all shooting disciplines. Whether you're hunting elk at 300 yards or engaging targets at greater distances, the fundamentals remain consistent. But Instructor Silva, some of the techniques you've demonstrated, particularly the extreme range calculations and environmental assessment methods, those seem like specialized training that goes beyond hunting education curriculum. The observation was perceptive and accurate, reflecting Gabriella's inadvertent revelation of expertise that she had acquired during military service involving precision shooting under combat conditions where accuracy at extreme ranges was essential for mission success. Jake, good instruction incorporates knowledge from all available sources. If techniques from other shooting disciplines can improve hunting accuracy, they should be included in comprehensive education. The deflection was characteristic of Gabriella's reluctance to discuss her background, though Jake had identified capabilities that suggested training beyond conventional civilian programs. Instructor Silva, will you be back for tomorrow's advanced session? That depends on how long the Marine consultation requires. Continue practicing the techniques we covered today, and we'll build on your progress when I return. As Gabriella departed Big Sky Hunting Academy for the Marine Corps Mountain Warfare Training Center, she carried with her the knowledge that the technical challenges she was about to encounter would likely test capabilities that she had spent 8 years concealing from her civilian colleagues. The Marine training facility occupied a remote valley in Montana's Beartooth Mountains, where elevation exceeding 8,000 feet provided ideal conditions for mountain warfare training that replicated combat environments in Afghanistan and other high-altitude operational areas. Colonel Chin briefed Gabriella on the training requirements with professional efficiency that reflected extensive experience managing complex military education programs. Ma'am, appreciate you responding to our consultation request. We have Marine snipers who need to achieve precision accuracy at ranges exceeding 1,500 meters under high-altitude conditions. Our current training programs aren't producing the consistency we require. Gabriella studied the training briefing materials with analytical precision that impressed Colonel Chen despite her extensive experience working with specialized military personnel. Colonel, what's the maximum engagement range your Marines need to achieve? Ma'am, successful hits at 1,800 to 2,000 meters under field conditions. Current qualification standards top out at 1,200 meters, and we're seeing significant accuracy degradation at extended ranges. Gabriella processed the technical requirements with automatic calculations that reflected experience with similar challenges under combat conditions where precision at extreme ranges had been essential for mission success. Colonel Chun, what environmental factors are affecting accuracy at those ranges? Ma'am, altitude effects on ballistics, temperature variations, wind patterns complicated by mountain terrain, and atmospheric density changes that affect bullet trajectory in ways our Marines aren't adequately trained to compensate for. The technical challenges required expertise in extreme-range precision shooting under environmental conditions that few military or civilian shooters ever mastered. Exactly the type of specialized knowledge that had defined Gabriella's military career before her transition to civilian hunting instruction. Colonel, I'll need to observe your Marines' current techniques and evaluate their equipment before providing recommendations for improvement. Understood, ma'am. Gunnery Sergeant Rodriguez will escort you to a range where our snipers are conducting training. As they move through the mountain training facility toward the long-range shooting complex, Gabriella's assessment of terrain, environmental conditions, and tactical considerations demonstrated awareness that went far beyond civilian hunting instruction. Her scan patterns, equipment evaluation, and ballistic analysis reflected combat experience that had been refined under conditions where precision shooting was the difference between mission success and catastrophic failure. Ma'am, observe Gunnery Sergeant Rodriguez during their approach to the shooting positions. Your assessment of environmental factors seems more comprehensive than what most civilian instructors would demonstrate. Gunnery Sergeant, effective long-range shooting requires thorough environmental analysis regardless of application. The principles of ballistic compensation are universal. The explanation was accurate but incomplete, omitting the fact that Gabriella's environmental assessment techniques had been acquired during military special operations that involved precision shooting under combat conditions where environmental mastery was essential for survival. From the shooting complex, Gabriella observed Marine snipers attempting to engage targets at 1,600 meters under atmospheric conditions that challenged their training and equipment capabilities. Their technique was sound within the limitations of their instruction, but their environmental compensation methods revealed gaps in training that prevented consistent accuracy at extreme ranges. Colonel Chun, she reported after completing her assessment, your Marines have solid fundamental technique, but their environmental compensation training doesn't adequately address the complex atmospheric effects that occur at extreme ranges under high-altitude conditions. Ma'am, what specific improvements would you recommend? Gabriella considered the technical solutions available within Marine Corps training capabilities, balancing advanced techniques against the practical limitations of military education programs. Colonel, successful extreme-range shooting requires more sophisticated ballistic calculations, enhanced environmental assessment techniques, and equipment modifications that optimize performance under high-altitude conditions. Ma'am, can you demonstrate these techniques? Colonel Chun, I can provide instruction and demonstration, but it would require equipment and techniques that exceed standard hunting applications. Colonel Chun studied Gabriella with growing recognition that her assessment and recommendations reflected expertise that went beyond typical civilian consultation. Ma'am, what specific qualifications do you possess for extreme-range precision shooting? The direct question challenged Gabriella to reveal capabilities that she had concealed throughout her civilian career. Colonel, I possess training experience that enables such instruction, but exceeds my current role as civilian hunting educator. Ma'am, we have Marines who need this training for operational readiness. If you have capabilities that could improve their effectiveness, I need to know about them. Gabriella realized that the training situation had reached a point where continued concealment of her background would prevent military personnel from receiving instruction they apparently needed for their operational requirements. Colonel Chun, I need to inform you that my background includes Marine Corps service that involved extreme-range precision shooting under combat conditions. The revelation sent shockwaves through the assembled military personnel who had expected consultation from a civilian hunting instructor, not disclosure of Marine Corps Special Operations experience. Ma'am, what specific Marine Corps background? United States Marine Corps Force Reconnaissance, qualified scout sniper with multiple combat deployments involving extreme-range precision shooting. Ma'am, how many combat deployments? Gabriella looked around the group of Marines who were waiting for information that would provide context for the technical recommendations she had been providing. Colonel, for combat deployments to Afghanistan and Iraq, with operational experience in extreme-range precision shooting under mountain warfare conditions. Ma'am, what's your longest confirmed kill? The question hung in the air with the weight of professional assessment, challenging Gabriella to reveal the full extent of her combat experience. Colonel Chun, 1,847 meters, Helmand Province, Afghanistan, 2018. The number fell between them like a physical object, its implications reshaping everything the assembled Marines thought they knew about their civilian consultant. 1847 meters. Colonel Chun repeated slowly. Ma'am, that would be the longest confirmed kill in Marine Corps history. Colonel, that's correct. The engagement was conducted under operational conditions that required techniques I can demonstrate to your Marines. Gunnery Sergeant Rodriguez stared at Gabriella with dawning realization that the woman who had been consulted as a civilian hunting instructor possessed combat experience that exceeded anything in current Marine Corps training programs. Ma'am, you hold the Marine Corps record for longest confirmed kill, and you've been teaching civilian hunters? Gunnery Sergeant, my military service ended when I transitioned to civilian life. My focus has been on hunting education rather than combat applications. Colonel Chun interrupted the discussion with tactical urgency that reflected the training requirements facing her Marines. Ma'am, can you train our snipers to achieve similar capabilities? Gabriella studied the Marines assembled for extreme-range training, evaluating their current skill levels against the technical requirements necessary for precision shooting at the distances Colonel Chun had specified. Colonel, yes, but it would require advanced techniques and training intensity that exceeds standard military sniper programs. What do you need? Access to precision rifle systems optimized for extreme-range shooting, ballistic computers capable of complex environmental calculations, and authorization to conduct training that pushes Marines beyond current qualification standards. Done. Gunnery Sergeant Rodriguez will coordinate equipment, while I arrange authorization for advanced training protocols. As Marine personnel moved to implement Gabriella's requirements, word of her military background began spreading to the mountain warfare training community with the kind of rapid communication that marked significant revelations about instructor capabilities. Ma'am, Gunnery Sergeant Rodriguez said during preparation for the advanced training session, why didn't you mention your Marine Corps service when you first arrived? Your combat record would have provided immediate credibility for the training program. Gunnery Sergeant, I want to be evaluated as an instructor based on my teaching abilities rather than military achievements. Training effectiveness should focus on student development, not instructor credentials. The explanation reflected her approach throughout her civilian career, though the current training situation demonstrated that some capabilities transcended the boundaries between military and civilian applications. From a shooting position at 9,200 feet elevation, Gabriella established a demonstration that would provide Marine snipers with practical examples of extreme-range precision techniques under high-altitude conditions. Her equipment setup and environmental assessment procedures demonstrated expertise that impressed even experienced military marksmen. Marines observe environmental factors that affect extreme-range ballistics, she instructed while conducting pre-shot preparations. Altitude reduces air density, affecting bullet trajectory. Temperature variations create thermal layers that deflect projectiles. Wind patterns in mountain terrain are complex and variable. Her technical instruction was delivered with clinical precision that reflected thousands of hours conducting similar preparations under combat conditions where accuracy meant the difference between mission success and friendly casualties. Range to target 1,650 meters. Elevation angle 15 degrees downward. Wind variable from northwest at 12 to 18 miles per hour. Temperature 42 degrees. Humidity 35%. Altitude 9,200 feet. The environmental assessment and ballistic calculations were comprehensive and professional, demonstrating the kind of systematic approach that enabled consistent accuracy at extreme ranges. Marines, extreme-range shooting requires accounting for variables that don't significantly affect accuracy at shorter distances. Coriolis effect, spin drift, aerodynamic jump, and atmospheric density variations all become critical factors. As Gabriella settled into shooting position with mechanical precision that had been refined through combat experience, the assembled Marines watched with professional interest that gradually transformed into amazement at the level of technique being demonstrated. Shot fired. Target impact confirmed at 1,650 meters. Center mass hit. The successful engagement drew murmurs of appreciation from Marines who understood the technical difficulty of achieving precision accuracy at such extreme range under challenging environmental conditions. "Ma'am, that was exceptional marksmanship," commented Staff Sergeant Williams, a qualified Marine sniper with extensive training experience. "Your technique and precision exceed anything we've observed in military training programs." Staff Sergeant, extreme-range shooting requires systematic application of advanced techniques. With proper instruction and sufficient practice, your Marines can achieve similar capabilities. For the next 6 hours, Gabriella conducted the most comprehensive extreme-range marksmanship training the Marines had ever received, demonstrating techniques and sharing knowledge that had been acquired through combat experience at the highest levels of military precision shooting. Marines, consistency at extreme ranges requires understanding that every environmental variable affects bullet trajectory. Temperature changes of 5 degrees alter point of impact. Wind variations of 3 miles per hour cause misses. Altitude differences of 1,000 feet change ballistic requirements. Her instruction transformed the Marines' understanding of extreme-range shooting from theoretical knowledge to practical capability, providing them with techniques that would enhance their operational effectiveness in mountain warfare environments. "Ma'am," Colonel Chin observed as the training session concluded, "what you've taught our Marines in one day exceeds the improvement we've achieved through months of conventional training. Your expertise has revolutionized their capabilities." "Colonel, these Marines had solid fundamental skills. They just needed advanced techniques for applying those fundamentals under extreme conditions." As they prepared to depart the mountain training facility, Colonel Chin approached Gabriella with questions that reflected Marine Corps interest in her unique combination of combat experience and civilian instruction capabilities. "Ma'am, the Marine Corps would like to discuss your potential return to active duty or consultation on advanced sniper training programs. Your demonstrated capabilities represent resources we can't afford to lose to civilian careers." Gabriella considered the offer while looking across the Montana mountains that represent the civilian life she had built after leaving military service. Colonel Chun, I appreciate the opportunity, but I'm committed to civilian hunting education. However, I would be interested in consultation that supports Marine training while allowing me to continue civilian instruction. Ma'am, that's exactly what we had in mind. Your unique experience bridging military and civilian shooting makes you ideal for developing cross-training programs. 3 months later, Gabriella had established a training program that taught Marine snipers advanced civilian hunting techniques while helping military veterans transition to careers in outdoor education. Her revelation during the mountain warfare training had created opportunities to improve marksmanship instruction for both communities. Ma'am, said Colonel Chen during one of her training sessions, the integration program you developed has transformed our approach to extreme-range marksmanship. Combining military precision with civilian hunting techniques has produced capabilities we never thought possible. Colonel, precision shooting and environmental awareness are universal requirements for any marksman. When we combine the best techniques from military and civilian disciplines, everyone benefits. Jake Peterson had completed his advanced hunting program and requested additional training that would prepare him for the kind of extreme-range hunting that few civilian shooters ever attempted. Instructor Silva, knowing your background explains everything about the exceptional training I received. Your Marine Corps experience translated into civilian instruction that prepared me for shooting challenges I never imagined possible. Jake, my goal was always to prepare you for ethical hunting under any conditions you might encounter. Whether that preparation came from military or civilian sources doesn't matter as much as its effectiveness in making you a responsible hunter. As Gabriella continued her work at Big Sky Hunting Academy while contributing to Marine Corps training programs, she carried with her the knowledge that her combat experience had value beyond personal achievement. Her revelation during the mountain warfare training had created opportunities to improve marksmanship instruction for both military personnel and civilian hunters. The successful integration of military and civilian shooting techniques became a model for firearms education programs throughout the Rocky Mountain region, with Gabriella's role highlighting the capabilities that combat veterans brought to civilian outdoor education. For Jake and the many other students who had benefited from her instruction, she would always be remembered as the hunting instructor who happened to hold a Marine Corps record for longest and firm kill, someone whose dedication to teaching exceeded even her remarkable achievements in combat marksmanship. And for Gabriella Silva, the revelation of her military identity marked not the end of her civilian career, but the beginning of a new phase where her complete experience could be used to benefit others who share the pursuit of precision shooting under demanding conditions, whether for military operations or ethical hunting, in the challenging terrain of the American West. The mountain training exercise had tested every aspect of extreme-range marksmanship, but it also revealed that some instructors possessed capabilities that transcended the boundaries between military and civilian shooting, creating opportunities for training innovations that improved accuracy and effectiveness in both communities. Her 1,847-meter record would always be part of Marine Corps history, but her contributions to civilian hunting education would create a lasting legacy that influenced thousands of hunters who learned that excellence in marksmanship required combining the best techniques from all shooting disciplines, military and civilian alike.